Hello! This is going to be for episode 3 audio mastering for Wirecast graphic novel, though. Basically how I turned lines like this to lines with zero background noise and sound a bit better. So something that sounds...
Spotted leaf? Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
To something like this.
Spotted leaf? Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
Making it louder, getting rid of all the background noise and stuff, and then trying my hand at getting rid of some of the echo and reverb. Obviously, I didn't do the best, but hopefully I'd learn and do better in the future. And I'll cover some things that I am looking at that I think will help me, but talk about some ways to actually improve that and how to get a better sound. So, this is Audacity 3.0. Audacity 4.0 is coming. I do actually have the beta pulled up here. Whoa, I can mess around on Audacity. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Whoa, crazy. This is what Audacity 4 will look similar-ish to, I think. But it doesn't have all the features and yet, because it's not released yet, obviously. Anyways, side tangent. Also, this, don't worry about the red coloring. That's just me, a note to myself that these two clips need to be combined in the final version. Two different takes of the same line that need to be combined together. That's all that red is showing. What we need to do is we need to get rid of this computer fan noise. So it sounds, you gotta use headphones and turn up your speaker, because it sounds like this. You can probably hear my computer fan louder than it. But we can see it's a problem, right? In order to actually see that, we can select this, go to Analyze, Plot Spectrum, and we get these spikes in here of where the computer fan likes to hide, right? So let's get rid of it. First off, if we're going to be working with audio, I'm going to Control-C, insert a new tab in here, right-click, and then Control-V, add in a new tab, and let's start working on here. We're going to title this track, the raw. This will be our edited. Rename. Edited. And this is just a reference. Oh my gosh. Zaid typing real time screws everything up. It's fine. I can't even type when I'm not recording. So, let's go through and add in our notch filter. And notch filter is what gets rid of that thing. A notch filter. Let's just quickly show what a notch filter does. Shape it. Let's go to default. Bring down a notch filter. This is what a notch filter looks like. It's just gets rid of a certain frequency. So it goes, and we're going to say, boom, get rid of frequency 5,812. Boom, somewhere, whatever, it's fine, nobody cares. Because I'm not going to use that as my actual filter. But the reason I got the 50812 is coming from the spot spectrum, and I'm just looking at this peak value. 5813, okay, I misremembered, oh, sue me. But looking at these large numbers is what I can use to, these peak numbers, what I can use to find my filters. We're gonna effect. Under EQ and filters, I always go to noise removal and repair. It's not there. But EQ and notch filter and filters, it's gonna be 5813, right? Because I had it wrong. Yeah. 5183. I'm just going to do a Q of 50. It'll get rid of it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And basically, the lower it is, so if I do 5, it's going to get rid of a lot of frequencies. If I do 100, which is really ideally what I want to be doing. It's going to get rid of less surrounding frequencies around this frequency. We're going to do 50 because that's what I did. I don't know. Tailor it for your audio, find the actual value, and try and narrow it down to get rid of as little. Try and keep the band as small as possible to get rid of just the bad frequency. We're going to apply, and we're going to see this band up here. I guess I should now mention the thing that I do that, or I guess I don't do that I should be doing, is saving the project every now and then, because Audacity does not autosave. Probably should have done that. Anyways. Oh my gosh, load. There we go. And boom. It gets rid of this frequency right here. We had this one frequency there, and now it's gone. And we can do that with all the other frequencies. Where if we plot spectrum. I selected everything, whoops. Analyze plot spectrum. Again, this is why I tell you guys to send in that 30 seconds of background, so I can actually just look at the background and not get a good idea of what your background noise looks like, so I can get rid of those notch filters, rather than having a plot spectrum that looks like this, and then me try and figure out what's the bad frequencies, because I can't. Not from here. So we got a lot of frequencies left. Basically what that plot spectrum's telling me. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 left. We can... Don't worry about that 8 one. We'll get rid of that in a different step. Yeah, 7 or 8. So, we could do this manually. Or, we could set up a macro. And if you have your own setup, and you have this reoccurring problem with a fan or something, a macro is the way to go, because you can automatically apply it, and it gets rid of your audio. So if we go to Macro Manager, up in Tools, Macro Manager, you can see that I had the anti-monitor, which is when I had a bad monitor problem with my audio. I just did a bunch of notch filters. You can see this is 12 notch filters. Yikes. But this one does not. This one only has 7 that we need. So I'm going to show you how to add in the last notch filter, where we go to just select end, hit the insert button, and then if you select down here, you can just click on any one of these, and you start typing in notch filter, it'll just pull up. That's the best way to use this, a search function, because there isn't really a search function in this, unfortunately. But now that it's selected, you can just go to edit parameters. Instead of doing the parameter we just did, you can type in the 238, which is that other one, hit apply, hit OK, and then hit save, and that is your thing. Great. And now when you close it, and you select this audio, you can go to Tools, Apply Macro, and you can find the one that we just did, and then it will apply all the notch filters in sequence without you having to manually type in all the ones. And this is ideal for if you're going to constantly be doing this over and over and over again. Thank you, Audacity, for crashing. Again, should have saved. Whoops. Okay, yippee, it's over, I think. Normally what I do is I like to, in my macros, is go to insert and, message, just to tell me it's over. Obviously I fast forwarded for you guys, but that was a wait, and I did not know when it was over. So just doing something like a message complete, definitely a big thing that helps when you're doing your macros. Next step is, I know you guys can already see the stuff I'm doing down here. We need to do a declicker. And that's going to get rid of all these mouth noises. You can see mouth noise right here. Also, when I run the declicker, what I did for you guys is I just used a this AT2020 Part 1, which it saved the project first, which I did. I was about to run the declicker after saving, which I did say it in the last video, save the project before running the declicker. It runs the declicker and then a high pass filter, and then it joins all the projects together. So I'm not going to use this at the moment, and then truncates all the silences. We're not going to use this at the moment. So what we're going to do is file, save project, yippee, effect, declicker, apply. Again, I'll have a list to all the declickers, which can be found on a website I made. Just has all the good Audacity plugins that you need, and they'll be in the description of the video. Okay, now you can see, now the declicker went through and worked, you can see that now that we have these vertical spikes of missing audio, so we can compare that in between these two pieces, and you can see the declicker got rid of a lot of noise. This is why we apply the declicker before doing noise removal. Now to do a high pass, which is to get rid of this large section here. And effect, I'll shape it, apply. This is just my high pass filter. It's a low cut or a high pass, and then don't worry about that. And that got rid of all the stuff on the bottom here, in that low end. Now we got nice stuff here. Now, let's get on to the noise reduction. Now, in the last video, I applied noise reduction once, or at least in the video I did. And I said, all right, moving on. Let's use an AI noise removal thing, because I don't fucking know. Fuck AI. So this time we're not going to use AI, because fuck AI. If we go to Tools, Analyze, and Volume Stats, plugin in the description. What I want to do, as you can see, there's 4 numbers here. I want to get the sample peak to -70, or at least lower than -65. I was about to say above -65, but negative numbers work differently than, my brain being stupid for a second. Am I a math major? Shut the fuck up. So I'm going to grab this audio here. Let's actually, while we're working when I like to work with my audio, I like to keep it in logarithmic. Get rid of that small section there, and Shift-K, drag everything closer. So I'm going to select the audio, noise removal and pair, noise reduction, get noise profile, select everything, and effect, noise reduction, and notice my settings. This is a low number. This is a high number. This is a medium number. 324/7. 324/7. Do not have this at 12. Please. Please. Have it low. Apply it multiple times and have it low. It induces the least amount of destruction into your audio. We're going to keep it low. Apply the noise reduction. Boom. And that's the first noise reduction done. You see, I got rid of a little bit in the high end, but not entirely. And if we go to our Analyze Volume Stats, -58 is higher than -70. So we're going to keep on going. So we're just going to select just that background audio, effect, noise reduction, get noise profile, select everything, and Control R. This is just does a repeat the noise reduction and applies it. That is all what Control R does. It's really good, really helpful, just to move fast with your audio. And boom, it applies. Again, the difference is getting there. Now just to do this 6 more times. Because we go to volume stats, -61, not -70. Okay. So, we finally got our sample peak down to the -70s. Sweet. So applied that a bunch of times. I'm not going to say the numbers. Around 7 times. So, the reason why I am trying to get this to -70s is because I want to hold in the fidelity of breaths. So, can I find a breath in here? Here is a breath. You're gonna really have to crank your audio to hear that. But we want to, when I apply a gate, which is going to cut out a lot of the background audio, I want to make sure my gate is really, really low so that we're not getting rid of the actual performance, right? Sometimes you'll get rid of a breath, and I have a breath that's, but when I gate it, it's, it has like a pause in it. Not good. Don't like that audio. So we want to keep this to -70 about for our sample peak. Now that we have that, there's a neat little trick with our gate, where if we go to noise gate, there is an option. Again, I have a noise reduction of -100 on here, just gets rid of everything. Don't really have to worry about the attack, hold, and decay. So, if we go to analyze noise level, this drop down, and we hit apply, it will tell us we should noise gate at -73. Awesome. Now I don't have to worry about where I should set my threshold, which last time, again, I would go and then last time I used the RMS median as my gate. Since then I have learned, use the sample peak. So we're gonna effect noise gate at -73. And hit apply, and you'll see all of our background noise, poof, done, nothing in the spectrogram. And that is going to be awesome. Boom. There we go. Now we got really nice samples here. Still not loading. Still not done loading. That's unfortunate. Really nice samples where all that background noise is removed. So again, key takeaways are keep your gate threshold low, or your noise reduction amount low, apply it multiple times, and then use that sample peak as your noise gate threshold. So, after we do all that, I can just get rid of this background noise removal. Grab that there. And then we can do and then let's do our loudness normalization. So, in last video I normalized to -14. This time we're going to normalize to -11. Or whatever I did to your guys' audio. Not everyone's audio was normalized at the same level, just to keep, some people were really loud, some people were really quiet, so had to vary the amount of normalization. 18. I hit that. Loudness normalization to 11. I guess I should switch to linear right now, but oh well. Linear. And then go to legacy limiter at -3.11. This is just so we match our, it's the ACX check, but for YouTube, which is the Philip Collier. I'm thinking of Paul L. It's not. Now, the next step we're going to do is, because there is still a lot of echo in this.
Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
Still a lot of echo. And I want it to have less echo. We're going to do something that I'm going to word of caution for everyone hearing this. I literally just started messing around with this person's audio with this plugin. I am not going to recommend this plugin yet, but this plugin is the De-reverb plugin, which is not linked on my website yet. I should probably fix that. But I'm sure if you look in Audacity forums, you can find it. Don't look at my settings. I don't know how to do anything in here. I don't know how to deal with the expert settings. And I don't really want to say, use this plugin. Because I don't know enough about it yet. I've used it once. Word of caution about this, because it is very destructive if you use it wrong. So we're going to keep that sensitivity very low and pray it doesn't mess up everything up.
Spotted leaf? Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
I'm going to keep it at 5. -4. Now, you can see that the de-reverb got rid of a lot of audio. And, didn't really do too much. Here, let's hit Control Z. Alright. Little skip in time. This is after I applied the de-reverb. This is before I applied the de-reverb. You can see it gets rid of a lot of audio. It is very destructive, which is why I am very hesitant to say I use this, and I am not going to say I recommend you use this on your audio. I'm just saying that it was used in this audio, and I'm hesitant to even say that, because it is very destructive. And honestly,
Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you. Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
I don't know if it really did anything. But anyways. Next is to EQ. To EQ, what I do to EQ my audio is EQ is just equalization. It is looking at the frequencies and changing which frequencies are louder and which frequencies are lower, quieter. That's all it is. So instead of, it's basically taking the spectrogram, flipping it horizontal, and then boosting certain things and reducing certain things. It's what we did to the fan, to get rid of the fan earlier, which is apply notch filters, which is just reducing the loudness of the fan at the certain frequencies. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select from here. Anyways, hit L on the keyboard, and that's going to hit a loop. Hit E on the keyboard, and that's going to pull up real-time effects. Add effect. Sorry for the ambulance in the background. So let's shape it. This is what we're going to do to EQ our audio. I will warn you that EQing is loud and annoying. Especially when you are doing it to a bunch of other people in a VC, and you annoy everyone and get messages like this. Rest in peace. Apologies.
Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you. I hope they're the right ones. Not yet.
So what I'm doing for EQ is I'm going to boost certain frequencies, get rid of some others. I'm going to try to find frequencies that stand out and are worrisome, reduce those, and then find frequencies that are maybe lacking in some places and need to be boosted up. So what I'm going to do is I see we have a cutoff at 2000. So I'm going to apply a high shelf and try and go up there. I think what I did is I applied some bass in here, and then I searched around. In order to search, what you do is you go and you hit solo, and then you hit space on the keyboard.
Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs.
I'm going to go through,
I hope they're the right ones.
and you're going to find those bad frequencies.
Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you. I hope they're the right ones. Not yet. Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you. I hope they're the right ones. Not yet. Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you. I hope they're the right ones. Not yet. Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you. I hope they're the right ones.
And then bring them down. I will mess around and then cut back to where they end up being. Yeah. I'll do that without annoying you guys. Boom. Here is what I came up with. Again, reducing some of those echo frequencies, boosting some of the bass, and boosting some of this high-end stuff to make you sound like you're closer to the mic, and try and bring back some of the frequencies that were lost in the what the microphone can pick up. This is what I ended up with for EQ. So now is to do something I said in the last video, is, yeah, you guys should be doing a de-reverb for all of your audio, and make sure you use a de-reverb because de-esser, because it gets rid of all those S sounds, the sibilants. That was a mistake on my part. A de-esser is, I think I needed a de-esser for a couple people in here in the video. You only need a de-esser if there's sibilants. I applied it to everyone's audio last time, I think, which is wrong. It should not have done that. Because a de-esser is a compressor. Which, if you want to see what a compressor does, let's just look at what a compressor does, honestly. Compressor.
Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
So look at what a compressor does. Is it takes these loud frequencies over here, and it's going to bring them down. And it's going to try and boost some of these quieter frequencies up. That's what a compressor does. So a de-esser drops the audio of the S sounds, the sibilants, and it's going to not touch everything else. So when I said last video, mess around and find the right frequency for you, I didn't really show you how to mess around with it. And that is my bad. So this time, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So, we're going to hit Control-C. Oh, hold on, I don't want a compressor here. And add a new track, and paste it in. Now, what I'm looking for is these S sounds right here. Basically, I'm looking for, this is just an example of how I'm looking at the spectrogram and noticing where the S's are. It's these clouds that are up high with some orange in them towards the top of the frequency band spectrums, just so I can see the sibilants. So what the de-esser does is, don't even need to solo this audio, because we're going to mess around with it. I'm going to hit our de-esser. Instead of hitting apply changes, I'm going to hit isolate changes. We're going to keep this -16 because it's really high. If I hit apply, you're going to see basically everything disappear in a minute, because it wants to load. Boom. Wow, everything disappeared. So now I can listen to these and make sure these are just S's. What I'm looking for is I want to only hear S's in the de-esser. So we're going to come over here and make sure these are S's. So that doesn't sound like an S to me, so we're going to lower the threshold of our gate so that we only pick out the S's, right? Hit Control-Z, effect de-esser, and let's do really low, maybe like 10, where it's gonna not pick up so much. And here's the de-esser at 10, where I maybe don't have this S here. I only have this S here. Oh, we're not soloed. And then I have a couple S's in here. We got this big S here, but it's not picking up this S here. And is leaving out a lot of the sibilants that I see. So with this, in this case, we would need to lower the threshold. And let me fast forward till I dial this in. Okay. So I just messed around with a bunch of different settings, and I came out with a notch filter of 10, which gets rid of all the S's without adding in, without touching any audio that is not an S that I don't want to hit. So I'm going to apply that at -10. I just change this back to apply changes and hit apply. Super simple. Okay. So, now, when I this is the final result of the audio. You can see we went from something that sounded like this.
Spotted leaf? Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
To something that sounded like this.
Spotted leaf? Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
Now, in this is not what I would send to the editors. I guess there's one other step I would do, which is add in a second of silence in between every single clip. So I just hit J on my keyboard, tools, apply macro, back in editor 1S. And this just applies 1 second of audio in between every single clip. So you're just going to zoom out real quick. And we will have to apply it again. Tools, apply macro, whatever, it's fine. Control 2 on the keyboard to go back to normal zoom, J to move back to the start. And this just applies 1 second of audio in between every single clip. And that gets us our final lines. You can see this is just a little bit more cleaned up. That's why the things are different. I just did a little bit more cleaning on this end. So, but anyways, my last bit that I want to leave on is, while this audio is a lot better than it started, there is still some echo in the audio.
Lionheart sent me to gather these herbs for you.
At the end of the day, echo is not something that can really be well removed, especially by me, who is bad at audio editing and audio engineering. But the best way to remove echo in your recording is to remove it during recording and not in post. So, sound isolation and techniques to reduce the echo and the roominess of where you are recording are the best solutions to doing it. So recording at your desk with a wall right in front of you, like what I am doing right now, not the best recording environments. Recording with a fan a foot away from the mic, like I am right now, not the best recording environment. I am not a good example currently of how to do your audio, but things like putting up I'll leave resources in the description on great videos to check out, but just a lot of soft stuff around you, recording under a blanket, to block out a lot of the high frequencies, recording in the center of the room to get around that bassiness of the stuff. If you have a cardioid mic, so phone mics are omnidirectional, so they pick up noise from all around different sides. Versus a cardioid picks up from one direction. If you have a cardioid mic, if the cardioid is polar pattern is facing towards you, which it should be if you're recording, put up stuff behind you, so that, like soft stuff behind you, so that when you record, stuff that bounces towards the back of the mic is normally going to get rejected by that polar pattern, but stuff coming in from your side is going to be accepted by the mic. So putting up soft stuff behind you to get rid of that stuff bouncing off back towards the mic is a good idea. And then for omnidirectional, doing stuff like what I did, I'll just put videos on the screen of right now of my old setups where I had literally put a phone in a cardboard box. Had a cardboard box, shoved a sweatshirt inside and put my phone in that, and that was used to reduce a lot of the directionality of where sound was coming from. Here is the setup. It is a 2 pillows in a triangle, sweatshirt in the orientation. We have a slant here, and I am holding up a blanket like this when recording. Obviously, a sweatshirt in a cardboard box is not the best setup you can do, but it works better than recording in just the open room and having the echo from that. Yo, you got a little sweatshirt hanging up, a fucking pillow, hanging my phone, my fucking hiking stick. Nice. Alright, we'll see if I can squeeze in here. But this is the setup I was using before I got the vocal booth. Just stacking stuff on top in a closet. Computer running Audacity. Got the microphone in here. Not a lot of light, but I can fix that. I got the microphone, some DeX cards to hold up, my phone, which I would be using to record lines on, have lines thrown up, and then there's the interface sitting right here, using pillows, a sound isolation shield, and more pillows, and then right here, instead of having blank space, I would have more pillows, cover myself in pillows, and having sweatshirts behind me to dampen as much sound as possible. Am I saying you need to spend hundreds of dollars in sound isolation stuff? No. But if you have blankets or sweatshirts lying around, throw a blanket over your head. If you have large enough space in your closet to record in there, like, I understand I do not, but if you do, record in there. Just dive in between the different shirts and stuff and record. Paying attention to what is around you when you are recording is very helpful. And even down to, like, what you are wearing when you are recording. Like, again, I'm a bad example of this. I'm right now wearing khakis and a polo shirt because I was doing a presentation today. And that's bad for audio because I got loud shirt and loud pants. So wearing, like, sweats, a t-shirt and some sweatpants is a lot better for recording than nicer polos and khakis. But that's getting into minutia of sound isolation and stuff like that. The basics is just look at your recording environment. Are you recording in large flat walls, like to reverberate sound and create a lot of echo? Whereas if you put a lot of stuff on them, it increases the amount of places where sound can be reflected to, and hopefully that means less reflections into your microphone. So putting stuff on walls and all around your room helps. Not saying you have to spend thousands of dollars. Not saying you have to build your own vocal booth. Just throw a blanket over your head, or behind you, or turn your mattress 90 degrees. Yeah, turning your mattress creates a nice shield behind you, and you can record like that. Sit on your frame, as long as your frame is not noisy as fuck. But just think about different ways you can reduce the echo of your room and how you record. Again, I will leave stuff in the description on noise reduction and noise isolation techniques and stuff. And that is where I guess I shall leave it. Thank you for watching. Hopefully this was not another hour long, even though I know it already is. Thank you for suffering through. Goodbye.